Good evening. My name is Brian Tabatabai, and I am a recent resident to West Covina. Little less than 2 years ago, my family and I decided to set roots in this community. We chose to buy our first home here. We chose to make this the place we would raise our children. This has not always been a right afforded to my family. I've been thinking a lot about this idea of rights, the idea of privilege. My family is indigenous to this land, American-born citizens for nearly 100 years. Yet 85 years ago, my grandmother, along with 1.2 million other Americans, had their rights violated, depatriated to a foreign land, house stripped, language stripped, identity stripped. It wasn't a privilege that was stolen, it was their constitutional rights. 25 years later, my grandmother would reclaim her rights in return, yet she would be denied the right to live in any neighborhood she chose. Through redlining, FHA loan policies, and other systemic practices, my family was again denied their rights as Americans. Later, my family would be denied their rights to an education. Unlike most Americans, my grandmother had to fight for access to classes that would allow my uncles and aunts to attend college. Your people are good with their hands, is what the counselor told her that day. Counselor was right. Americans are good with their hands. But I don't believe she saw us as Americans. Again and again, my family has understood that we were not the privileged who take their status in this country for granted. We would have to fight to maintain our basic rights as Americans. So here I stand today speaking to 4 men, and one on YouTube probably, who are in a position of privilege, given a great privilege by this community to serve. Yet it seems that some on this council have taken the privilege to serve the community for granted. It seems they believe their position is a right to fight for, instead of a privilege which was given. A privilege that demands a standard of behavior. A privilege that demands that one puts the community above one's own ambition and ego. As a community, we have been told that in order to remove Mike Spence from the privilege to serve, we must go through the process of recall. We have been told that in order to remove Mike Spence from his position of privilege, we must spend tax money on an endeavor that would be fruitless due to his term ending in November. I ask Mike Spence to finally ignore his life of privilege and do what is right. Exercise your right, Mike Spence. Resign your position on the city council.